Hey friends, today I sat down with Chris Henseler, CEO and co-founder of the media production company DapCloud. In this episode, we talk about what it takes to tell meaningful stories and build a brand without compromising your values in a world driven by instant gratification. We explore how to navigate algorithms while staying authentic, the resilience it takes to recover from setbacks, and why playing the long game matters. We also dive into the mindset shifts that help you get back on track with your goals and the lessons from sports, entrepreneurship, and life that can give you an edge, whether you're creating content, growing a company, or shaping your personal brand. Enjoy. Chris, my brother, where does this podcast find you today?
How you doing, man? I'm in Oakland right now visiting some friends, and I'm excited to be here. The signal, huh? No noise, just signals. I love it. That's more my
Awesome.
vibe. I like it.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been in the U.S. for a second. For transparency, we're both from Germany. You have an American citizenship. I also have family in the U.S., so we have strong ties to that country. We know each other going back a few years. Go ahead and introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, and
Gotcha.
what's the reason that you're on this podcast today.
Joel and I kind of clicked when we met each other through it was like a athletic postseason program with the developed athletes back in the day in Cologne.
Yeah, it was my first off season in football. I remember. Yeah, I never
Yeah,
played
and
football before.
yeah,
Yeah.
so he was one of the biggest guys, like one of the sumo guys came in, just like come running. I was like, okay, he must be in the business for a long time. But then everybody told me that it was his first season or his first off season. And yeah, I was as a part of an internship there where I just like helped out with like some metrics of like we had some before and afters there, which was the goal. So we tracked jumps, how high, how strong, whatever the athletes were, and Joe was one of them. And we actually, yeah, we ended up driving back and forth to practice every now and then, just because we clicked, we connected well. And yeah, so that being said, I was always interested in sport. I grew up with basketball, grew up in American sports a lot. I studied sports psychology. I'm just big into sports because I feel, especially team sports, gave me a lot of values and discipline that I think is very valuable in the working world, the real world. What year was that? What was the first year you played football?
I want to say it was beginning of 2022, a little over 3 years, because I played my first pro season. I went to the States. Yeah, so it was 2022. Yeah, so then we met in early 2022. We played on the same team for a little, and then we sort of reconnected in the beginning of this year. And all of a sudden, you had started this company, and you were balling. You started golfing. So take me through the journey DapCloud has taken, where you're the CEO and co-founder this far.
Okay, so my business journey started with on the side in the internship actually with you trying to be a sports psychology coach, like going through with athletes with visualization, made no money with that at all, wasn't officially, was just like trying to be useful. That was like the first idea of it. Then I just kept studying, kept going to college about it. I kind of got into, like, a friend of mine got me into golf and was like, "Hey, there's a big opportunity in golf. Like German golf is very, very old, very, very traditional still, and not up to date what social media and videos and all
Uh-huh.
that sweet stuff is." So that was interesting. So I chose to build a company with him, which we now closed down because it was very like it was a big hurdle to to kind of like change it. And
Uh-huh.
it in the end was a lot of working against everybody to change
Mhm.
the sport,
Uh-huh.
which was not profitable at all. It was
Uh-huh.
very time intense, very, very energy intense, which I then that's not what I can keep doing with hoping to change it one day. So then I zoomed out again, said, okay, what can I do with the knowledge I have and with like the friends I have around me? And I then ended up with a good friend of mine who was in video production by himself, doing it all by himself, like a lot of music videos, sports already. We actually played basketball together for a long time since we're 12 until we're 18 or something. So I then started a company with him, and that's DapCloud. That's the company that's still live, nothing broken down, still there, and we're still starting. We officially founded in November when we were on a trip together in LA to kind of see what's this biggest stage of entertainment out here. What's there, like where could we go if we keep pursuing this day after day after day? So the website is dapcloud.tv. You can have a look at what we do. We do it all with our resources. We have our own camera, we have own beat making. We plan to shoot. We get in contact with the client. We pitch them an idea, and then we
Mhm.
wanna get that idea out. And out of all these resources, we create a digital asset that then the client benefits from, and we benefit from because it's beautiful quality and it's good fun and it's yeah our art.
The way I gotten to know you, you were always very passionate about what you do. What I'm curious about, when you made that decision to close down the first project evolving around golf, probably rather hard decision to sort of let a dream go of, okay, I want to change this sport inside out. You have your background in psychology and sports, but also in business. What was that process like for you? And then also, what was what did the bounce back look like almost?
So after the first founding of a company, you played that already. You already did that level of video game. You know level 1 and 2 and 3 now. It was like you got to distance yourself from your pride because like as athletes, we kind of have this, we start something, we want to finish it. But that I couldn't finish that business. I had to pull the plug to then like actually pursue opportunities they may be more easy to accomplish or actually realistic to accomplish.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that's just a big part of it that I knew what the steps were. And like the first client call is way harder than the the 15th. You know, it's
Yeah.
just you
Even
kind
if
of
it's a new
know.
company.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still in golf, our goal was to make golf like more open to everybody, like let people who don't have the money or just students or younger people, let them have a taste of it. How can we get them a taste of it? We give more content out there so it's more visible, and then there will be a higher conversion in the end because you will have more people on your
Right.
range. But then they
Right.
were like, no, we're good.
Hmm.
So that's what I learned. Okay, the idea maybe sounds logical, but it's not placed at the right spot. I'm not
Uh-huh.
solving a problem here.
Right.
And with DapCloud, it's more like we focus on sports branding. Yeah, the growing of the sport, which can still be
Right.
golf, which is awesome because I can still do that if it comes up
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But it's getting people moving, getting young people into sports, and just showcasing that sports gets people together. That is important.
Uh-huh.
And me more and more just through talks trying to get people to buy your stuff gives you the feedback because they will show you, no, I don't want it because of that. I need this. And that's like kind of carving the whole project more and more so it's like more visible to actually, okay, this is what I can solve a problem with. This is
Uh-huh.
how our resources are at DapCloud, and this is what we can solve for them. So, but at the beginning, man, I hated just like not like telling my parents like I'm not pursuing this anymore. I gotta quit this. I'll be back on like focus more on studies and because of course doing a company on the side and still studying on the side is like the studies like will, will be will be less good. You know, it will be
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
And going back to that, it's just like you gotta swallow that pride, but I mean, that's how you grow, man. This in the end, like it was a good decision. It was the right decision, and it's a hard decision, but there has to be a decision made.
Absolutely. You did a project just recently with a guy named Paul Gude, who is a I know him personally because I used to train with him a few times when I was younger. I played basketball for 7, 8 years, I believe. I
Big
played,
boy,
yeah, I played
yeah,
center
big ball baller,
and
huh?
power forward at the youth level, under 16 and under 19, and I mean, he's been around as a content creator, but also obviously as a coach, as an individual basketball coach for a long time. It caught my attention because it got streamed into my algorithm. I always felt like that a guy like Paul had a very clear vision, a very clear mission as well. I think he always had a hard time finding his niche and also finding attention. Before we go into the little bit more detail about, you know, how you survive in a fast-paced world with algorithms made for 15-second clips, what was that process like of setting up this idea, this concept for this project, and sort of how do you dissect down the the story you're trying to tell?
Let's just story tell this, like what positions there are. Paul is like the coach. He was working with a wheelchair basketball player called Bo Botman,
Mm-hmm.
and his dream was to get into the first league and to just get better at his craft, which is wheelchair basketball. He reached out to Paul. Hey, Paul, I want to be better. Can you help me out? Paul was yes, of course, would love to. They met each other. They made sure to make sense. They did. The story of them having a bigger goal, getting better,
Mm-hmm.
could be in wheelchair basketball, could be normal basketball, could be in soccer, could be in IT, could be in reading, could be in storytelling, could be in communication, could be anything. Is universal. Everybody has an urge, or I wish everybody they get an urge to kind of like evolve each other into something better, a better version, a bigger ceiling to just be able to conquer more. And so that's the main characters, the trainer and the one that needs the help. And the goal is to get better, which is universal. Then
Mm-hmm.
we did a video project. It's called Dreams on Wheels, which
Mm-hmm.
was three episodes of just nothing scripted, just how do they work together? How can we as a production company, we had 2 shooting days for that, where we got into the gym with them, met the people, we did some interviews with them to kind of like filter down what's the importance of helping each other out to achieve a goal, to get together to achieve a goal, because it makes the achieving of the goal also way richer, because not just one person benefits, it's both. And yeah, that was that project of us just giving the spotlight also to wheelchair basketball is important, I feel. I grew up in a school, Integrierte Gesamtschule Bonn-Beuel. Shout out to everybody who went there, the catch-up school, baby. And we had like people on the spectrum there. We had wheelchairs. We had like everybody was just in one. It was a Gesamtschule, which means like all levels of education were together. Some then went for longer, did their Abitur, which is like the higher education, and some just went out earlier and stopped after 10th grade, for example. For people who went to that school, for example, it's so common. It's just like so like normal to just see a dude in a wheelchair walk around and wait for the bus and just hang out, because we grew up with it. But that commonness of it is not everywhere in the world.
Right.
So having a project around it was also like a cool, oh yeah, no, let's give this a bigger stage, the stage it deserves, so we can kind of make the communication with these different entities easier. And yeah, that was that project. Paul was great to work with. It was just good fun. It was so it was human, man. It was just like showing up, interview, talking to each other, like, oh, the camera's rolling. Oh yeah, it's been rolling.
Mm-hmm.
More of that. So
Mm-hmm.
nothing scripted, nothing, oh, we gotta portray this at this and that and this. And yeah, just great project. We now are trying right now, actually, which I will use your platform for. I'll just use it right now, Joe. We're looking for sponsors for a second part of this. So we got 3 episodes right now. The link will be in the description, of course, right? And we'll have like we're looking for sponsors so we can like finance this, because this was a no budget project. We just wanted to help Paul and Bo to get this project out. Um, and we're looking for inclusion financiers, like who have like budgets to push inclusion in Germany, especially in sports. And we were in talks with a wheelchair company that then for Bo would have a new wheelchair. And yeah, we're always looking for sponsors for the to pushing that project, because that was just it's a project that deserves it, man. It carries values that are important, and just seeing Bo go through adversity, that easily, just like a hot knife through butter, is like, what am I doing with my life? And why am I on this couch? Why am I not doing stuff right now? Why is this guy in the gym? And he talks about how he's a inspiration for a lot of people around him. And it just gives you the like, come on, man, what are you doing? I think that's real. I think that's important.
It gives you perspective for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What
sir.
I want to go back to briefly is I call it the long game, and I have a lot of appreciation for what you just talked about when you took us through the process of sort of closing one chapter of the first project you had in golf, and then going into DapCloud. And it's, for me, for example, I've been in sports ever since I can remember. I started playing soccer at 6. At like 12, it was clear that I should move on if I want to achieve something in a sport. Basketball came out at 12 or 14. I was tall,
Yeah.
so I had a good time the first few years, and then I'll never forget that moment. I was at practice. It was my second year in the Bundesliga, so the first division in youth basketball, and I had a good shot at starting at center, which took me a long time to get there. And I'll never forget this moment. I was at practice. I was feeling good. We had a season in 2 weeks, and the door of the gym opened, and all you saw was a chest and a collarbone. Because outside of that door, just walking into the gym, was a 15-year-old kid at 7 feet 2 inches tall, just waiting to play basketball. And obviously our coach was going crazy for him. I don't know where he is, and I don't think I remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
Then I switched from basketball in between COVID. I went to football, made it to the ELF, at least for a couple of years, although it's been rough years. And now there's a little other athletic project I'm on, which but it's
Mm-hmm.
not meant for the public just yet.
I'm
What I'm
excited for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. What I'm really um again interested in is, as you said, you talked about pride. You got to leave your pride at the door. It can lead to isolation when you're that when you have a vision for yourself and where a career in life should go, but no one can see it because it hasn't materialized yet. What is the internal dialogue you have with yourself when you close a chapter, and what is it that you tell yourself, or the conversation you have with yourself, to start over and to stay in a long game?
I think it's just to zoom out. I mean, it's this simple. Like, if you heard of Michael Jordan and his failures or whatever, like, not that
Mm.
everybody's the Michael Jordan or the Kobe Bryant or
Yeah.
whatever, but it just is the blueprint of you gotta pivot. You gotta get back to the chase, and you just gotta keep moving. It is step by step. It is day by day. It is second by second. We're doing this life thing right now, and I feel that's just very, very powerful when you can kind of take it day by day. And then also you could just gotta learn not to be too hard on yourself if results or outputs are not as wished.
Hmm.
Um, because you gotta give some grace to the we gotta be thankful, show some gratitude to yourself for actually chasing it, to actually put action into trying to achieve. Because I don't love a comparison, but some people don't.
Right.
And that one step you took is one step you took.
Right.
It has to be small like that. You gotta start there. Because when you are able to kind of get that shift of, I had this little, like, let's say, preparation for the podcast today. Every word I took, like, wrote down for it, it's just one word I took down to kind of make this outcome more easy for me, or just like give me some peace with it. If
Hmm.
it's also one word more is one word more. It's small,
Hmm.
but it is something, and it's the right direction, and it has to be directional.
Hmm.
Like physical, let's say, getting in shape, getting stronger. It's
Hmm.
gym. It's
Hmm.
gym day by the day. It's a meal by the day. I want that Ben and Jerry ice cream right now, and I want in on the couch and just hanging out and not go to the gym. That one no is huge because it disciplines you to keep on track, and that's where you got to take pride from, because you build yourself up with that. They're little small bricks that just come together in the end, and once there's a big wall, then you're like comfortable and confident in what you've built to choose these ways to keep chasing them. Like, that's for now maybe like easy to say for me, but in the moment, it was hard to be honest with myself that a lot of work that's be done is just punching in air. Like
Uh-huh.
you gotta punch in air first to then kind of try out what works and what is actually benefiting to your larger outcome. So yeah, I wasn't great with self-talk and everything, but through more action you will learn it because you'll just get more miserable if you don't.
The image I always give myself, or sort of the analogy when it comes to these sort of the long game and what we just talked about. Before, I appreciated the logic of saying, attempts compound, and at some point it's going to tip over in your favor. I read a book, The Psychology of Money, and they talk about the correlation between luck and success a lot. And in our society, it's not very common if you ask someone who's successful at what they do, that for them to say, I just got lucky. And to every success, there's always work involved. But a lot of times it's also about being at the right place at the right time, being at the right place for you when you meet a company, a basketball team, or whatever that gives you an offer because they just got off the phone with their old marketing agency and they hate them, and you're just, in the right place at the right time. There's going to be a lot of attempts, and the golfing one was an attempt. Now DapCloud is an attempt, and I I like the idea, because when I read that book, where they basically said on 300 pages, it's mostly about luck, and because they just looked at how many people are there and how many millionaires, how many billionaires, how many successful people, and the number is increasingly smaller the more successful you get. So obviously not everyone's going to become a millionaire at some point. But it was kind of a bad outlook, because I was like, well, if it's all about luck, why am I putting all this work in? The logic I take out of it for myself is, when you look at attempts towards the bigger goal, towards the bigger picture, if you take one dart and throw it at what do you call those things? If you throw it at the wall, trying to hit the bullseye, if it's only one, the probability of you hitting bullseye the first try on darts is low. If you take 100 dart attempts, the probability increases. So yes, life is about luck and being at the right place at the right time. It's also about a lot of hard work and just staying at it, stay swinging, basically. But it's also about just increasing the attempts you put in. And the more unlogic your attempt or your goal is, the more attempts you'll need. So that's how I always love to look at it. And I hope that makes sense to someone else.
So for me being here in LA right now, or right now not, but in this phase, I'm here for a few months now. It is about being out there, which
Uh-huh.
is always an attempt.
Uh-huh.
The not attempt is I'm gonna stay in and it'll all figure out and knock at my door and then
Or not
I'll
sent the
have it.
email or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, not sent the email, not sent the LinkedIn request, not sent the Instagram message of just like staying in contact with somebody that could potentially get to something.
Uh-huh.
There's small stuff that will get you in that direction. But LA, like the best example for me, because all these people from the industry are out there. They're at events, they're at parties, they're at the beach, they're in the beach volleyball league, they're at the pickleball volleyball league, they're at the skateboard park, they're at the soccer league outside. But they're real people, and you gotta engage with them. They're there. They're everybody in LA, right? You know, all these, they all want to make it in LA.
Uh-huh.
They're all out there. You gotta pursue them. You gotta do it. And
Yeah.
that's where kind of like you don't control the luck, but you can up the odds. You can up the chances that you bump into someone.
Right.
I bumped in this weekend. I was at the Artists Come Together. I was got invited through a friend of a friend. Just show up, maybe makes sense. His name was Ty. We were just talking, blah blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, like we just chopped it up, have a good night. I had to leave because our dog escaped the house, so we gotta find the dog. So we gotta leave the party early. But in the next day, in a group chat of mine with some friends, I see like, hey, dude, you were talking to Ty. He's a actor for this and that, and he was in this movie and this and movie and this movie. I was like, oh, you seem to be a cool guy. Well, damn, I gotta find his dog and put him back in the house. So they're all out there. And that's the same in any city. People is where the opportunities are, and making it human and getting in contact with them and pushing yourself to go to the event. Also, when it's by yourself and you just gotta be uncomfortable in it. Be like, oh, this is new to me. I don't know how this works. I went to business pokers. I'm barely knowing poker. but kind of like going to some business program, just meeting people and trying to figure out and who's their production team, who's doing the after movie for that, and then seeing a photographer, because that's easy for me to find, right? For me, it's always the guy with the camera in the event. It's like, oh, kind of want to meet him. What are you up to? What's your lens today? What are you working with? What are you doing? Show me your portfolio. Blah blah. The luck, you up the luck. You gotta make the luck work for you. And then in the end, you won't call it luck because you've been doing so much. I just chased that, and I got it. Like that's kind of the where you can take yourself mentally.
Right. What I also love to talk to you about, it's a little bit more tangible about media production, about content creation. In the year 2000, the average attention span for a person in the United States was 12 seconds. That has decreased to about 8 seconds now. Content pieces like Reels, TikTok, Shorts on Instagram, and especially endless doom scrolling make it a lot harder on average for people to focus on something. And for one thing that sets me off is thumbnails in YouTube videos. It could be there's one YouTuber, I won't say names, but there's one YouTuber I really like, really enjoy watching. He does like food blogging. He goes to different cities and countries and try stuff. I guess there's almost a science behind what the perfect thumbnail looks like to captivate the person looking at the YouTube dashboard to decide what video I'm going to watch. And it could be a great video. He goes into like little rougher areas to explore and to show the culture there. And then he has a thumbnail looking like an absolute idiot because that's just what works. And so I guess the question I have for you is, in this social media world, in the social media generation that's based upon short formats of content and where you basically have to earn the right for somebody to dedicate 15, 30 minutes or an hour a day to watch your story, to watch your video, how do you balance understanding and working the algorithms, but also not selling out on the story you're trying to tell?
Yeah. So I would differentiate, or I would just give some spotlight to triggers, because seeing your YouTuber do this
Yeah.
in a thumbnail, don't use
Yeah.
this as a thumbnail, by the way. But the idea of like wow, this it catches my attention for a second, this triggers me, or also even in copy for videos in the subtitles. If we have subtitles, we have something goofy coming up because the subtitle is wrong, but we manipulated it. I say, I did 6 things, and we don't put 6, we put sex, and then put that as a thumbnail. That's manipulating the bucking narrative, and that works, and that's not good because it's triggering. It's, wait a minute, that's wrong. I want to correct this, because it's like seems to be in the human nature that kind of like, I'm the one that's right, he's wrong, but he got
Like,
all his following.
there's a whole industry of people that call themselves rage baiters, which is a wild concept. Like I've seen a video of a guy where he does like a tutorial on how to cook something, and he intentionally spills milk out of a mixing bowl, and it falls over, and it's like things that just set you off. And these videos have by far the biggest reach, interactions, comments, shares, likes, whatever it is, out of anything. And that, I mean, we have the same things with our podcast where we're trying to distribute and put it out there and use the algorithms in our favor in a way. But at a lot of times I'm sitting there creating thumbnails or shorts from these podcasts, and I'm thinking, just like you said, turning the number 6 into sex. That's not us. And I don't want to do that just for the integrity of this project. So yeah, that's really
that's where your long-term integrity will be more powerful. Because let's say we did the sex and we did this and we had more views, but are these actually the views we needed? We wanted?
right.
Do we just want to feed the algorithm, or do we want to feed the people behind the algorithm that actually want to learn from a podcast or to just be entertained by us talking about our life experiences?
Right.
there has to be a differentiation as well. You can't just say this was successful because it has more views.
Mm-hmm.
If the conversion of actually common listeners coming back and being interested and giving a comment of, so let's say, hey, everybody who's listening right now, please comment who's having the better takes right now, Joel and me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, like we'll find out if somebody is even listening to this,
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is way more important than the outside view.
Mm-hmm.
But also on the other side, or us as a production company as DapCloud, that's not the easiest one to sell a company, a brand, because it's easier to sell numbers.
Mm-hmm.
If I say I get you 1 million clicks,
Mm-hmm.
sounds better than, okay, we are crafting a story around you as a brand. What are you? You are this.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
What are the values that you want to go on this road? What values do you want to be portrayed as? What should be other people thinking of you when they hear your name, see your
Right.
brand? When I hear Joel, I hear football, I hear business, I hear talking to some Stephen, right? Stephen, who's already in the business. You are learning from somebody who's up, who's already more experienced, somebody who's seeking knowledge. That's some stuff I like. I like about the brand Joel.
Yeah.
And on the other side, if you go into trigger warnings and like go into triggers and the rage baiting, what's the brand you're building?
Yeah.
Clumsy. So what I'm doing right now, I am rage baiting because I got 2 cups. I don't know if you noticed, I have 2 right here. I'm alternating. So there's more there's 1 coffee, 1 tea. But there's something that upsets
Someone. Yeah.
some listeners
Right.
who's like, why is he having 2 cups? But
Yeah.
I'm just like playing with it, because it's just
Uh-huh.
like testing out stuff. And maybe I just made that up too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
but there's consequences of actions, which are the rage bait, which are the no, I must stay true to myself. I'm gonna just
yeah.
do whatever I do. And
Yeah.
for example, with the golf company I did a golf Instagram account and TikTok account, which I grew pretty much because I was very consistent. The videos that went off were the ones that were kind of the weird ones. And I then thought, well, I can't do this, man. When I'm trying to actually document my journey and document my journey of coming into golf, I want it to be real. And it is
Yeah.
boring. And if it's just,
Yeah.
oh, ball went there, but I want it to be there. Oh, what should I change? Maybe the club head or whatever. But that's not as entertaining. But I also don't want to be a clown for entertainment to just get views for it, you know?
One thing that's a big thing, and we talked about it, is the building in public trend, which is basically entrepreneurs taking a camera and vlogging their life of building companies and just setting themselves up for success in what they do day in day out. And I not routinely, but every once in a while I'll watch one of those videos. One guy is, I can't think of his name, but there's this German ultra athlete who ran through Tokyo, a Turkish guy, I can't think of his name either. And they started a clothing brand about that and made it a big marketing gig. And their titles of the videos are, we're going to reinvent the athletic apparel industry over just, to marketing as big as you can get it. This whole building a public trend, to me, when you hear it first, it's like, okay, it's actual young entrepreneurs or even older entrepreneurs that are starting from scratch, that are showing you what it's like. And then you look at who's running this industry, who's running this part of content creation, who's the most successful. It's the ones with the biggest companies, the most money, and the flashiest videos. It is not the entrepreneur who's taken 5 years working out of his mom's basement, driving a raggedy old car and not even driving a car at all. It's the guys in BMWs in big apartments, flying all across the world, building the 5th company because they've already done so many things, which is good for them. I'm just saying that building in public trend ain't what it seems to be. And that is another of those symptoms that sets me off about social media.
What it does is, which I think is a positive of it, it gives the power of documenting an easier use. So because the entrepreneur who wants to build this company has to have some outputs. He has to be visible because nobody knows you. Like that's kind of always the chip on your shoulder as an entrepreneur. I want to sell my stuff. Nobody knows you. So having outputs are good. Now I kind of, after the last talk, I don't want it to be rage bait though. So I don't want like these people who love that stuff. I think maybe that's not the target audience I'm looking for.
They're not
But
beneficial to what you're trying to do. Yeah.
yeah, and but what it does when I document my story, it does keep me accountable to upload consistently. And on a regional level, it could have good impact. It could give you or it could give like, I'm from Bad Honnef. It's like a small town near Bonn, and it's, if I would be posting every day, or the golf thing for is a perfect example. I did it kind of like I showed my golf journey. I just documented the start of, and right there I'm like known for not the one that's good at golf, but the one that's pursuing to build something and make it more open to people, and then maybe combine some psychological tricks in golf and like learnings from it. But people would dare come up like, man, I saw the stuff, man. Can I maybe do the practice like a for free session to try it out? Can you connect me with a golf club? Or my dad's birthday's coming up. Can you connect me with that? So on a regional level, it does give you the opportunity to be the brand for that in that small niche, but you just can't have the expectations of, see, when Jeff Bezos would have a vlog of him waking up and just like, good morning, everybody. I'm still up. Today we're working from the biggest yacht of the world, by the way. And these are some girls I'm with. Little swift of the ladies that are around.
Yeah.
That's interesting because he already made it there, and he's such a phenomenon. So mysterious, so interesting, everything about it. That's why every news about Elon Musk is so like, people want to, or people listen to it if they
Captivates. Yeah.
want to, if they hate it, whatever, or if they got to. Kind of like, he's so big, it's like weird. Like, what's this alien doing? Like that idea. And but on a regional level, you can use that for you, so it does have benefits. But you can compare it with where these big companies are that are doing it, for where the name already is there. We're
Yeah.
building the name,
Yeah.
the younger
I
one,
just
smaller one.
I just thought of a guy I personally follow, who's, I don't know. I mean, building in public is probably a trend that's more corporate, more industrial, more tied to companies. But this is a guy, he's called Ethan Bernard, really great guy. He's on a journey of losing weight. He started at 660 pounds, which I'm 370-ish pounds right now. He's almost double my size. So I have a feeling of how, and he's down. He just posted a weigh-in on Mondays, and he's down to below 500 pounds. What I'm saying is this because he has almost 400,000 followers. And all he did was just pick up a phone, set it down, say his name, tell a story, and let people participate in what he does. And he's genuine about it.
And
And
it's relatable.
it's relatable. It's you kind of, everyone has some sort of relation to their body, and maybe someone wanted to gain weight, someone wanted to lose weight, we're always trying to do something, and a lot of times, unfortunately, it's not a very positive experience all the way through. So it's very relatable. And I know, because I've been following for quite a bit, he posted now 490 pieces of content just on Instagram, not including stories and whatever. And I mean, all it is just him basically being accountable and sharing ups and downs, and it's working. Up to 400,000 followers now. And these sort of content creators are always a light beam to me, because they just show that being genuine and just sharing yourself and what you're made of and what your goal is still works.
And he's taken a risk of putting himself out there
Yeah.
with starting the journey, because
Yeah.
when he doesn't lose weight, he could be a laughing stock for somebody. Oh, what are you even posting? Like, people get
Yeah.
shit on for
Way less.
beat
Yeah.
on, get on like for way like different stuff. So it is the risk he's getting rewarded for the risk he took with going out there, then walking the talk, where he's actually losing the weight, showing progress, opening the doors for everybody overweight. I'm just going for that, like just
Yeah.
saying the ones who want to lose the weight now, is showing them it is possible. And look how it is humanly possible because I can see his doings. I can see him doing the updates and like maybe going to the gym. I would say he's also posting some of that or just showing it. And that then creates the community of I'm there and there's a goal I can achieve, which is him, and be inspired by him losing that weight. And then they are all together in that cosmos of people wanting to lose weight. And there is a risk to it. And he took the risk and it paid off. And he's now gaining followers and traction to it. And he's still losing weight. So it's a good story. It's a real
Yeah.
story. It's real.
Yeah.
He is walking the talk.
Absolutely. Well, to wrap this up, I would love to ask you this: if and this probably is very relevant, or this is definitely relevant to anyone that's trying to start a company or just sort of establishing a personal identity, because I think into the economy we're moving into, especially for our generation, it's going to be more about what sets you apart and how quickly can you tell someone about it, what makes you special, what your abilities are, just to get a head start, to get a job interview, to get a meeting with an investor, whatever it is. When because you gave us a lot of good insights. If somebody asks you, hey, I'm trying to establish a personal brand in whatever form, if it's a LinkedIn profile, if it's my CV, if it's just continuity for the way I put myself out there, what would be the 3 to 5 things you would make them go through in terms of establishing their purpose or whatever it is?
So I feel it is like you gotta know what you are, right? You gotta know like I am not the one that's huge into fashion yet. I just wear whatever I kind of have inside, or my girlfriend picks for me. Shout out, shout out to her. But like stuff like that is what am I naturally leaning towards? Like if I'm a more reader or a talker, am I more active guy? Am I more in the background and supporting? Um, and that would be like, or also a big part of that is ask your friends, ask your 5 closest friends or 2 or 1, doesn't matter how many, but ask them real like, what do you think I am good at? Like, because yourself always, you're full with the dreams you have, you want to achieve this and you want to do this. So you're kind of manipulating maybe the nuances of what you actually are in comparison to where you want to be. Like maybe somebody would say you're not all that, but you would love to be all that. I know that. And
Right.
that's a difference to it. So ask your friends around you what you're good at, and then just share what you're interested in. I would say a example for me is like, some friends of mine are coming to me and like, hey, dude, your Instagram and not your Instagram, your LinkedIn consistency is like above average. Like I see you often on my feed. You really share, and I just said like, or I think it's just I'm sharing what I'm interested in. I'm just researching what I'm interested in and then sharing it because it's kind of also just for me, like a diary of what my interests are, what I
Right.
then want to share with the world because I think I got something from it. And also just gives a reason to talk about. If you, for example, say the last Franz and Moritz Wagner article about them coming back to Berlin, having a game in Berlin in Germany, where they grew up in, their youth team, there's like, we can talk about that and have like some discussion of it. Just because I put it out online and Chris had a thought about it, maybe we
Right.
can talk about it. Maybe I'm interested. And so learn kind of what you are. In Germany, we would say the Ist-Zustand, like the where you now, and what passions drive you to where you actually pursue them. So what interests do you actually spark, and then do content around it. That's building the brand, showing what it is that I want to put out there so people know me for that.
Right.
Like it's the first thought. It's that personal brand is, I have one friend, he's a policeman. When I hear his name, I know, oh, policeman. Yeah, I got that. Or he's a musician. I know that right away. But some have to find that first to kind of get there. And you can't decide right away because you will, with posting or with building that brand of, I think I will be a football coach, right? I want to be this sports psychology football coach, which I
Yeah.
tried with you guys, right? But in the end, it's more content I'm interested in, and the entertainment that kind of grew out of it. So I grew out of that, but this is still a part of it. But right now, I'm more bigger scale into global. What does it mean for a basketball player to get a big contract who are actually they're paying for their brand more than like just the playability. So
Uh-huh.
you grow out of your interests and build new ones. And that's just like we said, actions. You got to put out your interests so people can resonate and then go into these interests until they're not interesting anymore. And then you build new interests.
Right.
That was all over maybe a formula, but that's, I would say, how you grow towards a brand for yourself. And then people giving you feedback on it, because like we said, you're always, you judging yourself is just not as easy. Let other people do it with you, for you, and then use it. Not copy paste, but use it, listen
Yeah.
to it.
Right.
What a question for you though.
Sure.
If you would build like the brand for you,
Hmm.
like the personal brand you want to build right now, what are the things you want to build? What should people associate with Joel or the Signal, the podcast?
Well, it goes about it's about the two hosts. It's about Steven and I first, because that's just the way we approach it. At the end of the day, we want people to listen to the Signal podcast because Steve Spelke and Joel Konitz are on it. So the thing I want people to know about me or associate with me is my life was tremendously influenced through the experiences I made at sports. And I hold a lot of value in what sports does for you, not just physically, but mentally, and how easily transferable it is to the rest of your life. And the bigger part is I love the concept of paying it forward. So basically, life is dissected into three areas. First you learn, then you earn, and then you return. And right now I'm in the learning phase. Hopefully at some point I'll be in the earning phase where I'll make money and
You will.
just do well, and then at some point I'll be in a return phase. Steven is getting very close to return phase in his life, where he's mentoring people, he's helping young startup founders, he's having podcasts with me to talk about things from very different perspectives. And that is something, I've had a lot of great people in my life that had a very tremendous impact on me, a lot of great men. And so we're trying to build a platform where that's nurtured and harvested at the end of the day for others to make those connections. So the personal branding is a bigger thing, and there's aspects of it that are not public yet. So I have a hard time really diving deep into that. But the podcast should be known because Steven and I are on there, and not because and not the podcast first, if that makes any sense. So it's actually something we've struggled a little bit with to really sit down and have that talk about what's the purpose and where do we want to take it. But as you said, and that's the process we sort of agreed to, is to try, and we're moving into interviews more, and just trying to get new interests, as you said, just put ourselves out there, share what we care about, and open ourselves so people can see if they resonate with us or not. And I think that's a very natural and very healthy process. And it takes a long time because we're in the long game as well, you know?
Yeah. And the beauty about a podcast is it's long form, right? We were talking about an hour or whatever. Invitations to these podcasts are these 15 seconds invitations, right? The hooks, the
Yeah.
little snappy me giving a shout out to my old school so
Yeah.
we can get
Yeah.
some audience from the old school. You know, like small stuff like that is
Uh-huh.
just a chopped off reason to get them there. But in the long term, because talking about attention span again, is people still binge watch a lot of have a lot of watch time. They still watch a lot of stuff and stay in tuned in the story if it's good, if it's
Yeah.
interesting, if it's comfortable too. Like
Yeah.
hanging on a couch and not confronting yourself with problems is sometimes like easier. Like just distract yourself with something to watch, but you're still interested in watching it. And you're building a like starting a podcast is just an invitation to they can really learn you as persons, as people. And that's a like you got to let people into your like as that as well.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that's I love that about that you're going into the podcast journey of I'm sharing what I'm doing, I'm sharing my stories, I'm sharing my questions I have, and then let's see what people also are interested in that. And
Uh-huh.
that's a good match.
Uh-huh.
That's a good match to have. And I think that's I'm excited to see where this is going and maybe be a part of it more and more, because it's also interesting to just like speak out stuff, like put it in the world, get feedback for it, if positive or negative, but just practicing the craft of trying to share your expertise is always better than telling, I'm the expert in this. You
Yeah,
listen.
right.
You gotta
Absolutely.
learn it. Gotta do it.
Well, brother, thank you for your time. Thanks for being on.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm
Of course.
sure we're going to continue this conversation publicly at some
Yeah.
point. Until then,
I'm
I
mad
wish
we're
we, yeah, we might continue this conversation sooner rather than later. But have a great time, great remaining time in Oakland in the US, and I'll
Will
talk to
do.
you soon, brother.
Will do. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You too. That's it for today's episode of Signal. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed the conversation, follow us on your favorite podcast platform and share it with someone who'd love it too. See you next time.